Let's try again. Linda, did you unmute your mic? Let me hear you.
Okay, I'm on you. I wasn't sure of protocol, so I'm here.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
This is the place where nothing happens. That's the whole goal, what we're trying to do. Trying to calm down and get to the place of going beyond it all, get rejuvenated so that we can take more effective action. The hard part is the calming down and allowing this thing called meditation to happen. I don't know. I'm just a teacher. Real sages, that's a different story. Everybody has ways to do that. And it seems like our minds are so frenetic, no matter what bodies we're in, no matter what our histories, that we want to figure it out and we don't want to accept in the flower of the tree. Teacher, best of all, real wise words, real sages. So that's the whole search. Because if you can have one moment that's extraordinary, it changes everything. So you remember that principle, you remember that reality that you've had one hug or you've had one good event, and it literally cleared your mind, cleared the air, and made things more possible. So it's just like a series of principles. It's not a cognitive thing. It's a series of principles that we submit ourselves to. And the primary one is that one moment can change everything. Excuse me. But our minds are so busy with each other, analyzing each other and all that, that to get to the place where one moment can change everything is just only requires a devotion of your entire life. But you can do it. It's happened before. You've had a moment of insight. You've had a moment of experience that cleared the air. Game changer moment. Right? It's happened before. So logic says it's happened before. Now, how can we make it happen again? I think it's all about surrender, as best as I can understand. So that therefore we're not in subject-object all the time. Rather, we drop the defense mechanisms and we let life back in, and life primarily comes in the form of people. And who wants to let people back in? It takes phenomenal courage to believe that the divine is talking to you through the people in your life. And a lot of personal exposure. Because the second that you do that, you're going to feel uncomfortable. Julie is having to work, and Adrian is coming, Danielle.
Nice.
And Opie is coming from California, I think. Yeah. Anthony's in Hawaii. How's it going? Go ahead, Opie. Tell me something.
Tell you something.
Yeah, anything will do.
I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be spending time with my family. It's been a little bit of everything so far. A little bit of everything. Just honestly, it's just observing the family dynamics. And what you said was really, what you said about that it's the people around you is the divine talking. So it is the divine talking to you through the people in your life. And I've really been sitting with that and just seeing how that applies to the different family dynamics and just how things have changed and some things just haven't changed. And I feel like so that's what's going on. Lots of surprises. I surprised my mom and dad. I planned this trip back in May because something just said I was time to go and see my dad. Turns out it was their anniversary, so it was a surprise. We were able to just surprise them, and they had no idea. That was just one moment can change everything. It was so priceless. look on their faces, you know, like, oh my God, it was like I jumped out of like a video or something. They were like, what? So that was very, very, very special. And in the midst of that, when I say up and down, my dad had to go to the emergency room on Thursday night because he was in pain. But that is just, but he's okay now. He was just in pain. So that's what I meant by a little bit of this and that. And using the tools, like going back to, you know, ABC 0123 and the ABC, I can feel like how it's actually helping me be with them in a different way. I don't want to overanalyze it or anything like that because there's just a difference. That's all. And so that's my trip. Very grateful to be here. I know I said that a couple of times, and then last night was another surprise. My cousin Joel came to visit me in Hawaii, which Auntie and I spent time with my auntie. Some of you saw that video of my auntie in the ocean. They live here, and they didn't know I was coming either. So we surprised them last night, and my auntie almost had tears in her eyes. I haven't seen some of these people for like 15 years or something like that. Maybe even 10, 15 years to be able to spend time with them. And I'm just observing, being with it, feeling it, and all of that.
Want to see how enlightened you are? Go visit your family.
It's so true.
What was that?
If you ever want to see how enlightened you are, go visit your family.
That is so true. It's so true. Isn't that Joe Dispenza? Somebody said, no, Ram Dass said that, right?
I don't know.
I think Ram Dass said that. That's kind of what I'm feeling. I'm actually seeing where there's a lot of the stuck list that's coming up, where I'm saying, okay, I can add that to the stuck list, you know, that. And then also, it's a good reflection because there's places where I'm just not, I'm not playing the energy chess. I can feel it. I'm not like trying to fix everything and be the mediator. I'm letting their dynamics of arguing and just being themselves just play out and just observing it. Okay.
That's the hardest thing is when we have some kind of issue revealed and to sit with it and not keep life and everyone under some kind of control so that we can facilitate our agenda. It's so challenging to be receptive because it exposes us. That's what stops us from being receptive to life is our own personal issues. So we go through our whole lives with mommy and daddy and this and that and he and she and that, and we never look at this one. And that's the only self-reinvention that's possible. These same principles that I mention all the time, I mention them to myself all the time. I said to Lena this morning, I was repeating about gravity and mass. You remember we talk about mass and gravity, like this denser a planet is. Adrian's coming in. Let me open this door. Hold on. So the comment was that I was mentioning about how the more mass a planet has, the more gravity it has. More gravity it has, the more magnetism and dynamism and spin. That's what keeps things in orbit. That's the same way for a human personality. The more gravity your presence has, the more naturally you have this magnetism and ability to externalize your energy and to make things happen and to make things go better. But we're stuck on external solution, personal problems. I was mentioning this same kind of thing this morning to Lena, and I was saying, every time I say stuff like that, I don't understand how everybody automatically says, oh yeah, I read that, or I know that. I don't know any of this stuff. When I say it, I go, oh, wait a minute. So if I drop my defense mechanisms and let life in and tolerate the exposure of my own personal issues, I got more magnetism, I got more energy. And then sleep and wake becomes the same kind of thing. My intelligence improves. So I don't think that I got that. I think I better repeat it. So it's really a matter of principles, such as we're all seeking an external solution for a personal problem. And as soon as we get a little success, as soon as we get a little action, we get stuck on external, I'm going to do this, I'm going to change that. It's just, we're like hopeless in that. So if you recognize that that's how your psychology rolls, maybe you can define a certain set of things inside of yourself that you need to learn about or change that are hardwired. And there's no end to this self-reinvention. And it's primary. The external is not primary. The external is the overflow. It's not the squeeze. But as soon as we get a little something, little facilitation, now we're going to keep on it. We're going to change this and do that, and do this and do that. And months and years could go by before you find yourself again. To lose the mystery of childhood is horrible. We got to somehow feel so loved, so cared about, that we can return to that at least significantly once a day. And never get distracted away from it. Because if we can repair and upgrade as a like a duty in life, it's non-cognitive, the duty of this. If we could do that, then we reinvent, then we adapt, then we have new methods, then new insight. But you see how we're always focused on the cheese, not the milk? We're all focused on kind of managing this relationship and managing this circumstance, and he or she does this, and I need to adapt this way and that way. All stuck on the external change. But it doesn't come from external, it comes from internal, right? So it's a duty to remember that you could fall in love and become happy today. Sounds cheeky because the whole world messes with spiritual stuff and makes a business out of it only, and doesn't say, oh wait, this is all that I have. I only have my emotional experience of life right now. What does it take to wash your emotional experience of life? I wouldn't know. Hasn't happened. But maybe you can do it again. You could try again. And if you try again, like the Guru of the Beatles said, every time it's like putting the ink in the cloth, and then you put the cloth out into the sun, and the sun takes away the color of the ink, but a little bit stays. Self-reinvention is the only survival in life. It's all an inside job. So your primary thing today is that. It's not figuring out how you're going to do this over there, how you're going to teach, what you're going to say, how you're going to whatever you do. Don't do that. Make the internal thing primary. Be surrendered to the trust of life. Hi, Adrian. Where are you? Can't see you.
Hi, everybody. I will be visible in a few moments.
Okay. Adrian is in the building. Adrian is in the building. Okay.
Miriam, I was just gonna share with you like what you just said. For me, it's been a lot about self-discipline and realizing that I'm still, constantly going back to the basics and learning. And what I've been noticing is just listening, like to my aunties or whoever, and just let them talk and not have a comment and just something is happening just in that. But it takes something to be like, don't speak, just listen. And something's just I haven't had that tangible of an experience. So I just wanted to share that.
Oh yeah. I love it if you write it down on a piece of paper. Everything that works for you as an individual. Let's do that. Everybody have pen and paper? Please write down something that you know, something that you cherish, something that you love. Song, memory, place in nature, principle, listen better. Grudges, resentments. Now don't hold them, change them. We'll get to that later, but for now, we've got to get the support. So on each level of your person, your path in life is created according to your things, your quotes that you love, and your spiritual belief systems and your places in nature, childhood experiences. So just please write everything that you can on a piece of paper there that you feel that you like and love and benefit from. This must repeat because you're going to find new options, and the greatest possible help that you can find today is things on that list. These are your choices. These are your blessings. But notice how much you're caught up with thoughts and relationships and circumstances that you don't even remember these things. Let's write them down then. That's what writing is for. Write it down, write it down. You've got to slow down. The greatest possible help any human being could have is feeling peace of mind without thought, being loved, this kind of stuff. According to science and sages, that's your best chance for happiness, health, success. It's not in the action. It's in this. This has to be primary. Your own path, your own stuff, method. Mostly, nobody will give you the chance to do that. Well, you got a chance right now. I'll sit here and hold up the universe while you take it all for yourself. Go within. Find something more, Danielle. Find something more. Find something different, Anthony. Find something new, Adrian. New, different. If we don't get new and different, we're not going to be happy, you know. So do new and different and do classic. So those are the two categories, the classic things, and then, oh gosh, there's a flower over there on the side I never noticed. And extend your breathing pattern. You start to relax, extend your attention span, and get more nourishment. Because if your nose gets nourishment, your eyes get nourishment, your ears, so forth, all these things are going to start to function together better. Where right now, we're lost in thought, we're lost in worry. We're lost in subject-object perception. You over there, me over here. That's not being in love, being happy. Being in love, being happy, and mystics don't have eyes that function that way. Think about when you're in love and when you're happy. There wasn't a subject-object experience of reality. You felt it all within yourself because that's where it's really taking place. You weren't trying to distract yourself because you felt safe enough that you could feel whatever it is. Favorite song. Keep on stretching it out and do more, do more. Something new you don't know. I was remembering those boats the other day. Race boats were fun. Hopefully you have a quote or a meaningful something, not just a boat, but whatever it is that comes up. And while you continue to do that, I'm just going to go in the background here and read these questions that Julie wrote in to please answer in class. She said, "You are a special teacher." And I said to her, "People have been calling me a little special my whole life. And a one-of-a-kind friend. Being open, vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Where's the questions? Oh. Today's reflection on the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Over time, if you're with me 100, 200 years, I have more of a chance to introduce different things. because that's all I do. My honey bunny and I, we are like real academics. We just study and practice. That's our whole life. Study, practice, teach, you know. So I've been doing this since I'm 8 years old, as constant as I'm doing it right now. So there's much more of a library than I need because things are becoming simple. But for you, I can, oh, the inner teachings of yoga wants to learn more about that. And then I'll send it to you. And I sent that to her some time ago and she's all into it now. Of course, we know that yoga is not the stretches, right? That's not what yoga is. Yoga is advanced meditation. Greatest brain scientist in the world. I know you never heard me say this before. The guy that won the Nobel Prize in brain science, Dr. Eric Kandel, said that meditation is the last frontier of medical science. What? So obviously we have no idea what meditation is. The world does not present what meditation is, but I'd like the opportunity to continue to cultivate what that is with you. Because I realize for myself that if I could experience that, then that's it. Like fall in love, become happy. You can do anything. You can learn anything. Your possibilities skyrocket when you have one night's good rest. Well, that's like meditation is. Meditation is conscious sleeping. The master skill is that they pause before delivery. The Olympics are on now. What do before they go into action? Whoosh. So that one skill is more beneficial than anything else that you could ever learn about in life. Okay, she said one of the scriptures in yoga says, by performing self-control, by being friendly, the strength to grant joy arises. And she wants a refresher on the water, fire, wind paths of Qigong, which we're going to do later on. But just to answer that question now for her, in case she watches the beginning of this, the water path is the center of the spine. So your biological biography, our biological biography, is stopping us from being aware of our body. We don't want to see certain things. So we stay objectified with our thought. Cortex is where it all starts. Somebody kisses your forehead, you calm down, something comes in your eyes, your ears, one of those songs, one of those memories. And all of a sudden the brain calms and you can feel your body. Because of objectified awareness, we don't feel our body. We're not in touch with our body. We're not in touch with the earth, with the sky, with the nature. Only when we're alone in a beautiful scene in nature do we become boundless. We need to learn to do that while we're talking to each other. So the water, wind, fire paths of energy means that first you have to get the energy. So you've got to be trusted with the field of life. That means you got to be the servant. If you're the servant, you get perks. So if you're the servant of this environment, then the energy of life comes to you. The energy of life comes to you, then you can feel a healing field. If you're turned on, you have a healing field, magnetic energy, right? The water path is moving that magnetic healing field up and down the spine. All traditions talk about it. Tibetan Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, on and on and on. Taoism, inner teachings of Qigong, inner teachings of yoga. It's called the Sushumna Canal in yoga. It's your spinal cord. If you can enliven that core electric cord of your body, then of course the rest of your nerves get enlivened. And then of course muscles, thoughts, neurons. But we get tricked into thinking it's all about receiving energy. It's not all about receiving energy. It's all about being transparent and finding enough support somehow so that we can become still. We get stillness easy way, hard way, which way you want it. Why not prioritize calming down, accepting spiritual principle, being humble? Then, of course, like a valley, you're going to get the energy. But the energy itself is not primary. Spirit is primary, or attitude. So once you get the healing energy, you now can move it like almost like a scrub brush or something. You know, it can go up and down your spine. And this is a primary practice of all spiritually advanced systems, all enlightened systems. There's all kinds of references in the Bible and everything else that reflect the truth of the dance of spirit and energy. Jesus said, believe on me, from your belly will flow rivers of living water. Hara, belly, magnetism, 6 layers of muscle and fat, biomagnetic signature of the heart, of the cells. As most of you know, I can go into the science of that, completely, but I don't think I have too much time for that. I got to create the result of everybody, of all of us getting the healing. So if you want to ask me about science or particular things, I'll do that another time. So that's the water path up and down the spine. And you know how to get it now. It's through attitude. Healing energy comes from spirit. The scriptures of Qigong, if you have your attention on energy, you're going to be confused, because energy is in polarity. It's always a give and a take, a gain and a loss. What if you're not supposed to get the energy? What if you're supposed to give the energy? So if you have your attention on energy, you'll be confused. But if you have your attention on your attitude, personal issues, and guidance or spirit, if you have attention on spirit, difference between spirit and energy, energy looking at itself discovers that it had been pure spirit all along. These concepts, these ideas are not for one thing, one time, and we understand. We'd have to go 1,000-year training, something like that. You got to give up the product, give up the result. I want to take this class and get that result. I want to do this and get that. That's not how it rolls. You're not going to get anything. You are aging. I am aging. We need to be on the humble side of learning and a continuous student of real teachers, of real lineages and things like that, My favorites list should give you some experience of the healing energy. You remember that secret childhood place in nature when you were 5? You remember something wonderful and you go beyond thought. Now you can be receptive to the energies of life because you feel safe to drop your defense mechanisms, and you don't have to protect yourself all the time, things like that. You can let others help. You get the energy. You got the energy. Now you have these different paths of energy that are found in all these systems. That's the water path, up and down the spine. Fire path, up over the back, down the front. That's like going to sleep and waking up. Both a process. Since we live in the world of process, we have to play by the rules of the illusion we're bound by. The whole thing is nothing. You want to get back to contentment and satiation. And all the knowledge bits and my favorite choices, these can coax you, especially with experience and expert guidance over time. You're not doing anything with that expert guidance. Just forget that, please. Everybody thinks I'm going to do it myself. I'm the master within. I'm already enlightened. Make me throw up. We all need help. We all need guidance. So you've got to try your best to stay receptive. Look inside your body mind now and turn the paper over and do a scribbles map. As you look inside your body, draw a stick person and scribble on areas of your body mind where you're in shock, where you're in trauma, where you're afraid. Think about bad habits, think about bad memories, think about bad stuff. And find out where it is that you have this need. And that's got to be continuously new all the time. Just like the my favorites list, you got to get better at it. The fire path, while you draw that stick spot map, stick person and stuck spot map, you scribble on where it is in your body that you feel like you might have a physical issue, or when you think of personal issues. As you do the scribbling, I'm going to tell you about the fire path again. It's up over the spine and then down the front of the body. That's called small heavenly circulation in Qigong. Qigong and yoga, as it's presented in the world, have nothing to do with Qigong and yoga. I'm telling you the real stuff of Qigong and yoga here. And in Qigong, the fire path is really important. The small heavenly circulation is just down the front of the body and then up the back of the body to the head top and then down. But you got to have the healing energy field first, right? We're going to do this later. That's the fire path. Small heavenly circulation. Small heavenly circulation turns to large heavenly circulation. That means you include the earth and the sky. Sky is positive electricity, electromagnetism. Earth is negative electromagnetism. Ionosphere, the lightning bolt. So you are a fuse between sky and earth. If you become coddled and cared about and loved and tended to and intervened for by something else, then your circuits will be able to hold more energy, and your eyes and ears and nose and everything will become more spacious when you're talking to people. The relational interaction between you and others is not going to be as important as your personal path. So you won't be as self-conscious and so forth. As you have thicker cords, it carries more current. So if you're alone in the scene of nature, you got no problem with sky and vast vistas and bubbling waters and leaves and everything and animals, and the nourishments of each of these different things, and the soil, the grounding of the soil, the earth underneath you. No problem with being connected to that. But as soon as you look at somebody, it's a whole other world of difficulty because we're afraid of each other. So you want to practice being unbounded in nature, even in a room when you're talking to people. So that's the large heavenly circulation. You get the healing energy, and then it's up from the earth and up to the sky and the cosmos. You get celestial communication. I mean, the stars are out now, right? So why don't you know they're here? If you are conscious here where you are, then you're going to have celestial communication. You're going to have tree communication. You're going to have water communication. Genders and personalities and ethnicities will become superfluous because you don't see that. You see energy, life, you know. So if you're here right now and you're in contact with what's here right now, all these offering trees and all these offering elements and cute cats and bear fur and all kinds of things, well, you see the nourishments of it, whatever you're not afraid of, whatever's nourishing to you. And that allows the cosmic download. So you're completely still, you're completely awake, you're completely aware, and yet you're super calm, like an ocean is super calm on the bottom, the waters meet the winds. You develop different things that work for you, things I say, things you say, but it's got to be together in an organized deal where you can refer to it, because we're too scattered to just go about it however we want to go about it. You can find things on that My Favorites list that are going to help you forever. Takes a lot of humility to learn from somebody else. Who the hell am I to teach you when you're God staring at me? I should learn from you, right? You got to play a game. Whoever works for you, whatever works for you, take it, stay with it. If it continues to help, but always be mentored. Always have an intervener. Find your way to sage things. Give your life to it, because that's the quickest path of self-evolution. I was in Joyful Journeys Hot Springs one time, and somebody was pulling me around by the head. It was like a massage technique. And all of a sudden I had this vision of the stars like evolving, turbo evolving, or revolving. But I related that to me evolving. It's like people say, in horrible moments and great moments, my entire life flashed before the screen of my eyes. That's what happens when you have some wonderful experience or a terrible experience. Well, you could choose to have a wonderful experience, because you're going to have some measure of terrible experience anyway. And it felt like that there was some kind of union with stars, cosmos. So if you become unbounded, you see the stars, celestial communication, cosmic download, rooting and blooming, fire path, water path, wind path is the reverse of the fire path. That's what prepares you for meditation, going in reverse. So you want to slow down your sense of time. How am I doing? Did I say too many of the same things again? Does anybody have questions? Am I mind blowing, Linda? Come on.
I don't know. Linda, did you hear? Do you have any questions? She's on mute.
Oh. Oh, you have to unmute you. You have to,
I think she's trying.
okay. I agree. I think that's good insight.
Let's see. Maybe you could unmute.
Opinder's unmuted. Opinder, will you talk for Linda, please?
Well, Linda, you gotta unmute yourself.
Okay.
We
Oh, there
can't
you
hear
go.
you.
I did. Really did. I did. I'm having problems because it keeps on freezing. And so I hear some of what you're saying and a lot not. So I'm happy to listen and pick up what I can.
Well, let me have it. What did you lock on to that was interesting? And then I blurped anything that was of particular interest, maybe about energy or something.
I was interested in what you were saying about Qigong because I like Qigong and I try to do it every day. And there are things that I never heard of in the practices that I've done. So that's interesting. Thank you. I've noted them and I'm going to look them up.
Some of my Qigong background is when I was 8 years old, I would go to Chinatown by myself, much to the chagrin of my parents. And at that time, I was fascinated with what is Qi. And the only guy that had any solid books and information on it was a Kung Fu master named Yang Ming. He also has a PhD in mechanical engineering and a master's in physics. Well, fast forward 20 years and I show up at his school. And then I was an apprentice for a Taoist master with a giant Taoist monastery and retreat center. I was the head cook for him. And over the years, just every kind of teacher. And I'm in a documentary about Qigong masters around the world. And here is your Qigong download. So get ready. The main scripture in Qigong is that if you have your Yi, these are all scriptures from Wudang Mountain, and I'm currently still a student of Master Gu on Wudang Mountain, the real Qigong masters, real Taoist master. If you have your attention on energy, you're going to get confused. You can't work with your energy like you think. If you surrender to the universe will work energy through you. Then you can do these different energy things. But the main thing is for your attention to be on spirit. So all the energetic disciplines tell you, forget cognition, forget energy, just for now, and find the download of spirit. What inspires you as an individual? That's the main scripture in the Taoist Qigong scriptures. I wrote a book called The Essence of Qi. I'm happy to send it to you if you want, just in PDF form. And it contains all of the Taoist monastery Qigong scriptures, the real deal stuff. It's something I've been fascinated with and learning my whole life. Here's the science of it. The heart has a 40-foot field of measurable magnetism. So the heart is magnetic central. So we try to gather energy and then exact that energy to have power over others. And that's incorrect. Only by surrendering to the psychology of the other individual will our magnetic signature increase. The magnetism of accomplished Qigong masters is hundreds of thousands of times higher than an average person's magnetism. We have a real big challenge to not be the master. We only want to be the master. What I learned is that that's the last thing you want to be. You only want to be the consummate student. So when your mind can find your body, meaning you can be aware of your body, then you can change the coherence of your heart magnetism. Coherence is more important than amplitude. So when you get the energy from nature, Guru the Beatles calls it natural support. When you become the valley that gets all the water, now your magnetism becomes extraordinarily high and more coherent. Okay, so once the heart magnetism, which is chi central, that's the largest field of magnetism in the body, you detect it 40 feet away from the body. The most advanced way to diagnose a heart in a hospital is called a magnetocardiograph. They measure the waves of the heart magnetism, just like Star Trek. So chi on a physical level is nothing other than the same magnetic stuff between magnets. Spirit is the ethereal form of chi, and that's the cream of qigong, is to have psychological healing, which results in spiritual awakening. Once you get this heart magnetism going, which you can get an app called HRV app, heart rate variability. The free, you know about it? That's a great thing. Now you turn your heart
math.
Yeah, heart math is great. I talked to people there last week on the phone. So we want to find a way to create this evenness of emotional reality, because our emotion is directly related to heart rate variability. That's the one-to-one correlation in heart math. So it's really all about emotion. People think, oh, you don't have to worry about your emotion. It's the intellect. Get done what you need to get done. Ignore emotion and things like that. It's not true. Hiding beneath every thought is an emotion. You, whoever you are, Adrian, you, whoever you are, you need to be emotionally cared about selflessly. That's what you need. You don't need anything else. And anytime you place anything else as a priority before that, you're going to get it. So just don't do it. Just believe that you need to have this emotional love kind of thing. So you turn your heart magnetism towards your belly. Now the belly has 6 layers of muscle and fat. Muscle is positive electricity, fat's negative electricity. So 6 layers of that creates a battery, positive and negative electricity. That's why the belly is the Dantian, right, Linda? Dantian, the center of gravity in the body, is where you should make all movements. So you sit down, you stand up, you turn, everything you do. So we don't lead through life with the head and the intellect. Lead through life with your whole body, and see if you can find the earth and the sky while you're doing it. All right, so heart magnetism turns towards the belly. The belly then builds its magnetic signature. It condenses. Now, the most advanced scriptures in Qigong is the Yi Jin Qing and Shi Xiao Qing. And these 2 scriptures eventuate in what I call bone marrowing. Or another way to say it is reach the bones to soak the bones. So can you come out of your head so much that you feel this deep relaxation, you're soaking up the nourishment of life, that you feel your bones? That's the most advanced step that precedes meditation in Qigong. And, I can go on about Qigong too much. I won't know anything I'm talking about because I'll just be a talking head. But as far as knowledge of Qigong, I'm your guy, that's for sure. But you got this belly magnetism that increases. Okay, then that goes to the sex. And if you don't have healthy awareness of your sexuality, then you're not going to feel good. You got to be turned on in life, right? So this goes to there, and there goes to there, and there goes to there. That's the stepping down of finding the earth. You can't find the earth unless you find your body first. You can't find your body first if you're too stuck on go, searching an external solution for a personal problem. So as you eventually, and we're going to do it in a minute here, but as you step it down, calm it down, how does it happen? Through the teacher. That's it, because you got to get the energy. If I'm doing this day and night all the time and you're doing something else, then you got to have me to do it for you. That's the way it is. Really sorry. And I'm not even talking about me to try to self-promote. I'm talking about how it works. I know in my life that if I don't find that download from real sages, forget me, then I can't do anything. But my whole being and your whole being is programmed in gather information and do it yourself. It won't work. You've got to become a conduit. A conduit means you're connected to higher sources of wisdom, higher sources of something. But our minds say, there's nobody has higher wisdom than me. I'm the master. When is everybody going to figure out that I'm actually the master? That's what every one of you believe. That's what I believe, and we're all wrong. So we got to humble it up a little bit and use this my favorites list that can have particular bits of knowledge on it. to help us to become a conduit rather than subject object. Once we find the earth, we're grounded. When we find the earth and we're grounded, we can grow roots. You know, in Qigong, the most advanced practice is Zhuang Gong, physical practice. What's that called? Anybody tell me? What does that mean, Zhuang Gong? Stance practice, standing, how you stand. Yeah. So each toe, is it talking to the earth or not? So the more that we go into this today, the more you're going to see I'm talking about something, everything opposite of exactly all that you're obsessed with. And then you're going to get a miracle healing. And then you're going to go, yeah. But it says it right here. So I never forget, and I never forget to tell you, you cannot understand. You will not remember. So even though I fully expect all that goodness to happen today, 5 minutes after you get out the call, you'll be off and running. So you can only return to your training and your practice through making a commitment, through saying, you know, and then you're stuck. So that's how it works. So we want to make a commitment by saying, I'm going to do this, my favorites list every morning for the rest of my life in some way, or you're going to remember the childhood memory, or you're going to sign up for a class, or you're going to whatever, but it's like a non-cognitive decision. And then you don't take out the trash whether you feel good or not. You take out the trash because it's a duty. And if you don't take out the trash and you don't clean your room and you don't do all these things, you don't have anything. It's all about, you know, this self-care kind of a thing that results in being able to be a real servant to the other people. And it's non-cognitive. You make the decision, you make the commitment, however it works, then you're stuck. Me, my commitment is I'm doing this every day, every night, forever, no matter what happens. No matter who's with me, who's not with me, who gives me something, who doesn't give me something, nobody's going to interrupt that. That's what my commitment is to myself. So I lose all the time. There's a big statement in Tai Chi called invest in loss. And I'm making a lot of progress that way. All right, let's go out and practice. What else we got here? Oh, more questions before that. Anthony, did you say you had something?
Yeah, feels like zero is the beginning, is also the end. I guess you could say it's infinite or something, but so when you talked about like doing like yard work, I don't do the yard work to mow the lawn to get it done. I do the yard work to actually do the yard work, or like have gratitude for doing the dishes. I'm just curious, how is there some sort of key to when there's zero and I feel zero and zero's everywhere no matter what, but then I get distracted? Is discernment a key, or is there a key to sort of just realize that I'm just zero is still here even when I'm out there in the world? Because I tend to go from one extreme to the other.
The karma takes us out of ourselves because of attraction and repulsion. We want to get something and we want to avoid something. So we get pulled out of ourselves. But really, all the time, the magnetic pull, you call it, of the universe is evolving us. The human genome is evolving. We could not evolve if we had to, no matter what. The conscious mind, the software program, the behaviors, they could be doing all kinds of stuff. But when we consciously recognize that, you know, nature's here and life's here and sun, rain, moon, stars here, it changes, and you're able to coordinate everything with the path of your own healing. And you just want to think about your psychological healing, your emotional state, how your internal dialogue is. So every time you open and close a door is the chance to practice Qigong, for example. If you have embodiment and if I focus on my hand, magnetic energy builds in my hand. That's a scientific fact. I can change the magnetic signature of my hand, scientific fact. So the mind, the cortex, is taking away the awareness of the body. And the karma that you have will pull you out into the field of action without your center. So all of life should be your experience to be healed, to be happy, So the hormonal nectar should always be increasing. Brainwave coherence should always be improving. Heart rate variability should always be improving. The physical movements of Qigong, for example, that's way down the line. We're going to do that in a minute, but that's not the thing. The thing is the internal teaching. So the internal teaching is that every moment is an opportunity. Every second you have, how you drive a car, how you walk, how you stand. This all is feedback, because your body is the feedback for your brain. Your body is the feedback system for your psychological experience. So if you're off in too much commentary, too much question and answer and all that, then you can never practice. Practice is being aware of where you are and what you're doing. So everything is the opportunity for you to become healed. Every moment, every challenge, everything. And when we lose ourselves and we become unbalanced in whatever way, or eat too many muffins or whatever it is, that's part of it too. That's why we realize that the experience of being cared about by somebody else is more important than everything we're doing. Grace is more important than anything. You know, do you feel worthy? Where's Andrea? Do you feel worthy? Do you feel cared about as an individual? Or are you so bashed that all you can do is, you know, keep struggling to go forward to change something? Don't change anything. Just surrender and accept that actually beyond your software program, when you go to bed at night, you have this wonderful experience of peace of mind, you go to sleep. Otherwise, you can't be alive. So you do have grace in your life. Now, if you follow direction, take instruction, you got the hardest thing, the thing that almost nobody does, which is follow specific direction. You got specific direction for me, if you want it, then my favorites list and Scrollsman. That's not going to go away. How could that ever go away? If you want to create a miracle in your life, you want to create some super chi power or something, how could you get it more than from that My Favorites list? There's something on that My Favorites list that can float your boat today. So when the My Favorites list is cultivated and you have more teaching, you have more access points, you know, that place in the garden and that park and that friend and that secret enjoyment of fresh muffins from the bakery. I don't know, something. The Jesus, the Buddha, a real teacher. You want to learn Qigong? Go to a real teacher. Throw away all the rest of them. Throw it out. I got no time for ordinary people things that way because I need too much help. So you got to go right to the master. And the masters exist, they're available to you. And one of the things that I do and I try to present to all of you is that truth, you know. Can you spend time that way to make yourself receive darshan? Darshan is the energy of a master, a real master. I'm a teacher, I'm not a master. But the energy of a real master can come through your My Favorites list. You can remember some secret childhood place and for 2 minutes extend your attention span, and it could rejuvenate you like nothing has in the last 10 years. The hardest part is receiving acceptance, receiving instruction, because we don't want to be verified as that we don't understand and we don't know, we need help. That's the last thing we want. We're so crying babies that we want to be verified as being special and a teacher and all this stuff. That's what we are. So you accept that a little bit and have a little salt to you, a little grit, and then all of a sudden you get this embrace of life and it just changes everything. You can have your whole life change. This is a life transformation session. And you can have your whole future, present, past changed. People's destinies are changed in one moment of experience, right? So that's the theory and thesis of this class. One moment can change everything. Let's try to find some of those moments. Experience them. What do you say, Anthony?
I'd say that's beautiful. And I'm not sure, but is that also magnetism? Is that creating magnetism?
The chi
Something
that
to bone?
comes through the roof. The magnetism that happens if you follow the other directions I'm talking about is through the roof. You have more magnetism. You can use your mind and affect reality in extraordinary ways. But if you want that so much because you want to be in power and you want to have control, and then life's not going to give it to you. You only can get it by forgetting the product.
Hmm.
You can't get a PhD if you're obsessed about the PhD. You have to do your homework. You have to be focused on your homework tonight and getting a passing grade on that homework. And that goes on for years. And you have no idea what it's all about. But you're following the curriculum of somebody else that designed it. So that's the hardest part, you know.
Trust.
Yeah. So you're my favorites list you can trust. You see? If you say, I trust William 12.2%, okay, then you got it. 12.2%, I'm in. You say, I trust this quote that I like 100%. You say, I trust this memory 70. In other words, you have different things on the piece of paper that can make a mosaic of something that you can totally trust. Different people and different teachings. How are you ever going to trust another human being fully? That would be stupid. We're all fallible. I don't do that. You do that? No, we shouldn't do that. But masters you can trust, and teachers you can trust in some measure. Take what you need and get out. But you have to be the sovereign person that chooses, that says, yes, I can deal with taking this workshop or taking this class. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this. And I get the parameters and so forth. And the wiser you become, the more you become like a computer connected to the internet. You've got all the information. You're not self-processing anymore. So you learn to understand the electricity more and not the individuals and the personalities. So the individual and the personality might have wisdom that works a little bit, maybe not. I like this about him, I don't like this about him. Okay, but I'm subject to that. That's fine, because I'm fallible and I'm in process. That's true. But in your method, can you make a mosaic of what works for you? Or are you going to keep on just trusting people, seeing that they're imperfect and discarding them? What you're going to do? You have to find a way to trust people implicitly, ultimately, because the electricity is coming through the individual and the behavior is in process. But why don't you love the life that's coming through them? Why don't you cherish and honor that part of the person? You have to, because if you're stuck in shock about the other person, whether they're perfect or not, you can't have happiness, because nobody's perfect. You got to have graciousness. You know what I mean?
Is that what you just described? That is the opposite of subject object.
Totally the opposite. We use our mind, our cortex, to analyze the person in front of us, and in 10 seconds we can see all their faults, and then we throw the baby out with the bathwater. That doesn't work. You can't live that way. You have to suffer to understand how the other person's beautiful, how the other person's intelligent, how the other person is trustworthy. That's what your job is, to do with how you relate to other people. If you do that, they get healed. So you have to be the one that's exposed and transparent and things like that. It's not dependent on what they do or who they are, because the life is coming through them, and then their software program is making them behave in particular ways. It's your job to recognize empathically what's going on for that individual, why they're experiencing what they're experiencing. That takes suffering. The Scribbles map, the stuck spot map, makes you suffer, because you can see that, oh, I don't understand him or her because I'm not listening well enough, because I don't have enough compassion. I'm not talking about no discernment. I'm just talking about, just do push hands, Anthony. Push on me. This is an advanced thing. You ever see this, Linda? This is an advanced thing in, oh.
Yeah, you keep on getting stuck.
Stuck list.
It freezes up for some reason.
I have to make a stuck list map. I'm going along just fine, and then all of a sudden, push on me. Look at how careful he's being. Okay.
I'm calm right
This is
now.
this is an advanced thing in Qigong and Tai Chi. It's called sensing hands practice. It's
I
very
see your hand. I'm about to switch the view. I can't see your hand. Hold on. There you go. Now I can see your hand. Oh yeah.
push,
It's a little low though. Raise your hand a little bit. There you go. Yeah.
push.
I see it. Yeah.
All right, turn your hand. Now I'm going to push. Now watch his body, everybody. You see how long it took for him to move his hand?
I don't trust you.
Push. So the way to be the martial art master and the rest of it is receptivity and acceptance of the other person. It's not keeping them out. It's saying, come this way. Put your hand up.
It's hard.
And now I'm going to push. You ready?
Yeah.
You see the delay?
Yeah. It's like
3 seconds. And in that 3 seconds, that's when you get sick or die or get lonely or have a bad event by being unresponsive.
I can't help it. It's like a safety like
Because we don't
guard or
trust-
something.
right. You don't want to try, you want to keep the other person out. And what I'm saying is that's the opposite of how you're going to get healed.
Hmm.
How you're going to get healed is you have to interpret the other person in terms of what they're saying. That doesn't mean you can't have discernment and you can't have boundaries and you can't fight for yourself. You certainly can. But you can never dishonor the life that's coming through another individual.
So it's
To me,
still subject object, right? I'm still
we're stuck in
subject object.
Right. It's not like you're alone in nature and you see everything and everything is just boundless. If you're in love, your eyes change direction. And all of a sudden the whole world's in a better mood. Right? If you're happy.
Yeah.
So put your hand like this. Now I'm going to push. You ready?
Mhm.
Good. Now what about your shoulder? You don't have a shoulder? Push. Push. So my whole body is trying to feel what he's saying. Now ready? I push. So this is what you have to do in communication with the other person. And Lord knows we all have growing edges in that. I know I do. Push. But what I do have is a practice. So I can return to saying, why did I get stuck? Why do I keep freezing on Linda's screen? What is the message of that?
Hmm.
You know, how can I take 100% responsibility for my experience of life? First rule is I can't. I'm not capable of doing that. Second rule is I'm going to make my whole life about learning how to do it better. Okay, everybody, please rise. Please stand up. Now, for Qigong, which is a great system of enlightenment, you must have connection with the elements and the magnetism and environment. Just moving the body will get you a little bit somewhere, 2%. You want real Qigong, and real Qigong is based on the 3 powers and the 3 treasures. 3 powers: sky, earth, body. So imagine the sky above you, or kind of connect with it if you can, with your mind. Connect with the sky the earth underneath you. Yes, and now let's do some of these movements that you've seen in Qigong, but let's be more tangible about what they mean. We're going to bow to the sky. This is called the form of natural reunion. gather in from the sky and touch your head. So if I have flowers and I put the flowers under your nose, there's tangible nourishment. Same way with this sky. You got to practice being one with nature all the time. Again, again, again. Start over, start over. Prayer hands. Earth underneath you. Soil, plates, magma, metal ball, teeming life. Remember at the beginning, we talked about how greater mass means greater gravity. You want to create greater mass in your body in terms of magnetic energy. Then you have more gravity. If you have more gravity, you have more health. People are more attracted to you. Things go better. Prayer hands. Stars. Everybody does rituals and forms. There's no super master people that doesn't do rituals and forms. But our feeling nature says, I don't need to be structured and disciplined and do certain things, because it takes away from seeing everything when you do discipline or particular words. But all the planets are moving around and the galaxy is spinning around. These are all ritualistic. So you get up in the morning, you have rituals. You can make certain rituals part of life. Trees, tap the sap. Tap all the trees in terms of connect with them. Oceans, mountains, rivers, bear fur, dolphin skin. Feel all these nourishments, just like if you had all kinds of different flowers and they were giving you nourishment. In Qigong, when you do a movement going out, that means energy is going up the spine and out through your limbs. If you do a movement that's going in, that means energy is coming down here, down to the earth. That's the yin and yang rivers of the body. So you learn to coordinate, for example, opening a cabinet with real Qigong practice. You set your stance and you move your body in a coordinated fashion to open the cabinet. When you sit down in a car, you connect to sky and earth and you bring energy down. When you open the door, energy comes up and out. You need to learn to live in the field of magnetism that's all around you. If you get extraordinary blessing to your brain, then you calm down, things change. Now you can see magnetism. We were watching the Olympics and I was saying, all I see is the changes of energy. And Lena said, well, you mean you actually see the energy? Everybody else sees the energy. They're like dreaming or something. I don't know. I mean, how could you not see the energy? So like the fish in the water, that's where you are in this physical world. So when I see you all, I see you reacting to energy all the time. But you're not, you change your eyes to be able to see it yet. But once you see the energy, it makes it easier to understand about paranormal world, spiritual things. Because the purpose of energy is to fuel your psychological healing, your spiritual experience. So the three treasures in Qigong are Jing, Qi, Shen. Jing is sexual energy. Qi is the magnetic energy that comes from sexual energy. Shen is spiritual enlightenment that happens through psychological healing, psychological refinement. All of Qigong is based on the three treasures and the three powers. The three powers, sky, earth, body, they pour into the three treasures. So if you're connected to a beautiful scene in nature right now, isn't energy pouring in your body? So in your daily life, you maybe say sky and earth, or you do some practice that you're able to connect to the pouring in from the sky, the pouring in from offering trees and birds and everything talking to you, and from earth. So this comes down, this comes up. Now you have this power building in your belly that everybody talks about in every tradition. So if you kind of give up your thought and you find trusted instruction and you go with it, you train yourself, that's going to give you the success you want. You're going to have to choose, decide, and make a break for it, because there's no external solution for personal problem. So try to make this priority no matter what you're doing. Everything else will go better, but you got to trust it. Prayer hands. Stars. Stars underneath the planet. Stars up through your body, touching your head. So all of this time during our session, we're just trying to calm the head, enter the body, enter nature, bring it down through the body. Golden pollen is the sweet nectar that happens when you have a sweet kiss or a great bite of food. In Qigong, it's called golden pollen. It's sweet saliva. That happens when you start inner listening, inner looking. You got to remind yourself that this inner direction is more important than anything. You just have to do it. Will you do it? Prayer hands. Space. Swallow down. Swallowing power is a big deal in Qigong and yoga, Tibetan Buddhism, all of it. Wash the field. Bring your left hand to touch the field of energy and wash it. You have to consciously be aware of your neighbors and your everything else and wash it. That's the only way you're going to have space in the field anyway. More important than all of your doing and everything that's going on is that you clear the air of your life, clear the inner air of your life, clear the outer air of your life. So you're extending your mind to touch your relationships in psychic space, to touch your neighbors in psychic space, and you're washing, you're healing. Just like if you put that healing hand on somebody, same thing, but now you're doing it for your field. Keep going. Soon into training, you should have a sweet taste in your mouth and an electrical feeling. Your hands like this. To generate magnetic power, reverse breathing is the top thing in Qigong. So it's like pushing a car. When you push a car, your breathing should be opposite, meaning that this expands as you exhale. The lower belly expands. It's called reverse breathing in Qigong. So if you were pushing a car or a heavy shopping cart, you would get down in your feet a lot. You would really find a lot of feet, a lot of base, feet, ground, and then you would push and this would all expand. Imagine you're pushing a heavy shopping cart or car and feel the magnetic energy go out of your hands out into the environment. More feet, more feet, more feet. So I see some of you have got hand energy, but I don't see the body, and that's it. Isn't it good? More base, more feet. Qigong's all about feet. Once you have a strong sense of what you're saying in life, what you're standing for, your magnetism soars. No muscles, Anthony. No force. Just energy, magnetism. And what's the foundation of Qigong? 3 powers. The essence of Qigong, 3 treasures. What's the major yin and yang root of Qigong? Yang root is above the spine, up to the top of the roof of the mouth. Yin root is down here. When you inhale, it comes down here. When you exhale, it goes out like this. Now I'm going to look into your eyes. And who am I going to see that is not connected with the sky? Where's the sky? You know how many years and how many thousands of people I taught? And you know how long somebody remembers? About 3 seconds. You must be connected to sky and earth in practicing Qigong or in practicing embodiment. And all I got to do is look in your eyes for half a second and I can see whether you are or not. That's it. Sky and earth. No muscles, no force. Let sky and earth come through you. Now straighten your head, nose in line with navel, ears in line with shoulders, bend in the knees, chest sunken, not like this, chest sunken, like you're receiving a hug. These adjustments continue infinitely. Loosen the pelvis. Which hip is pointing forward? Which toe is not talking to the ground? Sky and earth, sky and earth, sky and earth, sky and earth, sky and earth is going through the body and making corrections, healings, adjustments. So you have to be exposed in having problems for there to be healing, right? So soften your heart into receptivity, major energy field of the body. Aren't all those videos and knowledge from HeartMath great, Linda? Linda. Aren't all the videos? Turn that volume up. Aren't all those videos great from HeartMath? The HeartMath. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Thank you. Such great information. They talk about, they got this one video where they show the field of the heart energy. And of course, it's a cosmic circuit. In my book, if to send it to you somehow, it shows the global and the cosmic circuit. So now your heart is connected to the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance is connected to the cosmic energy. Schumann resonance is the energy out here. Being stuck and afraid means you can't be connected out here. So it shows these two people and it shows their magnetism and their coherence of their energy and interacting with each other. It's like the science of love. It's really cool. HeartMath. I've got the Muse and the heart rate variability and Wild Divine, all these devices. And when I used to teach in person, everybody has to do all of these. And, you show me. So, you know how to meditate. Okay, show me. And almost without fail, nobody can do it. That's why I know how much instruction is necessary for you, whoever you are, you. Because I'll do this for my whole life. And, every yogi and every person, and the one lady, she's in charge of like millions of people or something to do with spirituality, right? She knows every meditation system. I'm like, show me. Can't do a thing. Can't change your brain waves at all. She's been doing my class forever, and she like never shows up, and never. Why? Can't be a student. Only can be the teacher, right? That's our problem. So we're going to do One Finger Zen now. One Finger Zen was created by the same person who created Zen and the greatest wisdom of Qigong. So Qigong, when it first started, it came from India, and it was all of the stuff of yoga with the chakras and the energy systems, and then that added some things. And about 5,000 years ago, a physician called Yellow Emperor created the first deep scriptures of Qigong. And as time goes on, you see all religions, all enlightenment systems, all energy systems start with imitating animals and then go on to the meridians and the energetic systems. Well, in Qigong around 500 AD, this person came on the scene called Damo. And he incorporated stuff from Tibet and all kinds of things, and he upped the entire way Qigong is viewed. So in Qigong philosophies and teachings, Damo has the greatest compilation, compacted teaching. Two main things, Yi Jin Qing, Shi Xiao Qing. I can go on forever, who cares? But I just want to say it so that you get a sense of the breadth of my understanding of this stuff. So this guy is the greatest teacher really of the Qigong. And because it just incorporates everything, and it's a beautiful model of all the stuff together. Now, he created this form. He also created Zen. He also created Kung Fu. But he created this form called One Finger Zen, and we're going to do it now. So you want to prayer hands like this and connect with the earth underneath you. Is it increasing? Is your connection with the earth increasing as we practice?
William, can you lower your camera so we can see more of your body?
Feel so used. All right. Prayer hands, and now we're going to imagine the stars underneath the earth. Make sure there's a bend in your knees. Make sure that your brain is talking to your ovaries. What did you say? Or that whole area, because the brain has got to feed your base, your root. Your legs don't fill with energy. This is all Chinese medicine and Qigong wisdom. Your brain has to go into your body to activate the sexual root of your body, because if you don't, your legs won't fill. If your legs don't fill, you don't touch the earth. So you have to be cycling energy down all the time, and then cycling energy up all the time. So from here, you want to see the stars underneath the earth, okay? And now say, oh. Hum. In Qigong, in the scriptures, this is called pulling silk. Working with energy is compared to pulling silk. So imagine if you had silk between your fingers. And do that again and soften your fingers more. Again. Okay. And you want to recognize that you need to do it softer all the time. And now you want to compress the magnetism between your palms. Hopefully you feel magnetism between your palms at this point. Okay. Now soften your fingers and go like this a few times. A little space underneath your arms. So your body is like filled up like a balloon. That's good. Oh, yes. Breakthrough in right wrist for. Mhm. Yes, for Linda. Pardon me. Right wrist, huh? Oh, see that? I love seeing this healing thing happen. And then now you want to have pressure. So if you want to build magnetism, it's based on pressure. So you want to imagine like a spring or something, or a balloon between your palms. And so your mind is going to bring the energy it would take to press a balloon or to press a spring, but it's not going to the muscles. So like a baby, you have this fatness to your body, but it's not fat like PHAT fat, like a baby. Oh, that's good. What's going on here? Okay, Skyner. That's really good. Now I want you to open up more, and a stronger spring or a tougher balloon. And now really there's a lot of pressure and you're bringing it together. You're squeezing it. Maybe your fingers will tingle or something, but you got to have this magnetism. Oh, good. All right, keep going. Just duplicate my moves as best as you can. For those of you that haven't done this before, right over left first, because this is animating positive electricity. Right side, left is negative electricity. And now feel it between your wrists. One wrist on top of the other. Slower, slow down. You got to feel that magnetic pressure like magnets between your wrists. That's good, Adrian. But you see, if you don't do this stuff, you're not going to get the benefit, right? Like this. All right. This way. So now you're working with the field. You're not just moving your body, you're working with the energy field, right? That's the kind of Qigong forms you should be doing. Sky and earth. So you should see the stars in your mind's eye. This now. Drop your right elbow. Don't have your elbow out like that. If you're relaxed, it'll be there. So eggs underneath the armpits, nose in line with navel, ears in line with shoulders. That's good. Oh, look at that. That's good, Adrian. She's off and running again. You see how this internal stuff, however you want to do it, with me, without me, is more important than anything? Maybe. Because this is actually what you need. This stuff. All right, now spin it around. You feel the magnetic things, Linda, moving around there? It's okay, yeah. Now just slow it down. Drop that elbow. Sky and earth, head straight. Okay. But you want to do exactly what I'm doing. You don't want to do your own thing, okay? Because you got to get the transmission. So you don't want to go on your own and do it. That's for later. Just latch onto me and just let me do it through you.
William, we can't really see your hands.
Oh. How even are your fingers? Is there evenness? How is your thumb going like that, or is it relaxed? More sky and earth means more magnetism. Everybody should be moving a magnet now. You should be feeling, I mean, I feel like a magnet going around my hands. Like if you have one magnet underneath and the other magnet on top and you can feel the field, that's what you got to be doing. And it's not from you, it's from sky and earth and from me. When you're learning, you just want to latch on and do it, what he's or she is doing. Everybody learns, right? 5 minutes, then they do their own thing. You're not going to learn anything like that. Like this, like this, like this. Oh, that's very nice. Good, Anthony. Now, Anthony, can you see how we've traveled in such a way, and because of talking and whatever I'm doing, you're kind of tricked out of thinking now, and now you're actually in the healing field? You see that? Yeah. So that's why you have to get the darshan. That means you have to have some kind of teacher that's legitimate. Better than me, great. Leave me alone. Do your own thing. That's great. I don't know. I'm pretty good. But if you do the sages, that gets me going. But otherwise, pick me up, hire me, do your thing, stay with me, whatever, because it's going to work. Go like this. All right. And then finger down here. Sky and earth, sky and earth, sky and earth. Little by little, we're getting to a divine trance. That's the whole idea. You're just swirling it around, and you imagine the magma in the earth, and you're swirling it. In the more advanced Qigong, it always becomes nature and cosmos imaginations. In every tradition, it's like that, because the life is offered right now in the air that's around you. All the elements are in the air around you. So it's like you make a break for it. You split time and you say, okay, I'm just going to do what I can to heal myself with whatever teachers I can. And you know it all results in advanced meditation. And then we go out here. Start over. Oh, imagining the swirling galaxy, and it goes into the brainstem. Ah, it goes into your throat, still swirling. Hum, goes into your heart. Hum, travels down to your belly. Zen bow is like this. Soft opening. See my hands okay? I don't know where I am. This. Adjust your shoulders. Only the ground and your own personal space. You want to be self-contained. You want to be healing anybody, doing anything. Palms talking to the earth. They're very even. Adjust your shoulders, adjust your chest, adjust your breathing, adjust your hips, adjust your head position. Yeah. And when that neck energy releases, it'll go down your body like a flood. And just do 3 each as the routine. Left hand underneath your navel, right hand on top of your navel. Turn your hand over, press 1, 2, 3. Swirl it around. Down here by your belly, swirl it around. Finger, magma, soil, stars, sky, earth, animals, insects, birds, dolphins. This way. Now we'll do the left side. swirling galaxy. Brainstem, throat, swirling galaxy, heart, chest is soft. Hum, Zen bow. Fingers, how soft can you do it? Open. You see me okay? Or no? Fingers open. Down to the side, palms and the sides of your hips. Palms come up. Energy, pulling silk. This way. Pulling silk between your fingers, like silk is going between your fingers. Then you press with your palms. Pulling silk. Press with the palms. Pulling silk. Sky and earth. You'll notice that your eyes and your mind will always bring you back away from yourself. It'll have you go into environment in a way where you're losing your energy. Find yourself like this. Like this. Now turn your hands right wrist on top of left wrist. And then 1, 2. Oh, we were doing the left side. Oh, whatever. Turn it over. 2, 3. Okay, this way. This is called 8 pieces of brocade. This is the #1 most popular Qigong form that was invented by Marshall Ho. 2 hands holding up the heavens like this. This. Palms back, Anthony. And then press your palms up. You'll see this in all the Chinese restaurants, right? It's a very unique thing because it gives life to the heart meridian, which is the pinky here, down here. And you stretch the insides of your arms. The insides of your arms and the insides of your legs are important chi places, wherever sensitive. Look up. Draw the bow, shoot the arrow. You want to compress all your muscles at one time. All your body becomes, with your mind, you compress your muscles, and that gives you energy. Other side, switch sides. There's 3 of them. Separate heaven and earth. This is understanding the difference between yin and yang. Yin is actually pronounced yin, pronounced yin. So this one goes up and this one comes down. Right hand up, left hand down, and press your palms. Switch. Switch. Wise owl gazes backwards. Simply turn your head behind you. And the other side. Again. Just go back and forth, steadily extending your rhythm and attention span. Hold the posture for a while. when you're stretching your head and neck. Sway the head and shake the tail. It's number 5 in the 8 pieces of silk. Sway the head back and forth and move your butt around. So sit down a little bit, move your butt around and shake your head. I like this Stevie Wonder. Two hands hold the toes or as much as you can stress down and press your back this way. So if my hand is held here and I pull it out this way, my kidneys will be stretched. So you want to place your hands down underneath your feet if you can, or just grab your ankles and then pull up so that all your kidneys, the pancreas, and the adrenals are called the jade ring in Qigong. Really important area. So you want to grab your ankles and then pull so that you stretch your kidneys, or fingers underneath your toes if you can. Pull with your back. Okay. Now I want you to look to one side and glare angrily. This is number 7. Get your mean on. Look to one side and actually get mean, like an eagle about to seize a rabbit. This is the most popular Qigong form. This is number 7. It's called clench the fists and glare angrily. So you want to make fists, clench your fists. Yeah, and glare angrily. And say, get away from me, William. I don't want to give you any money for some stupid class. There. Come on, honey, let's see. Lena. It's my wife, Lena, up there, Linda. I have to pay her extra to go to the classes, and I got to make dinner for 3 days. Glare angrily. Come on. Let me see. Anger is not wrong. Anger that's not from the right place is wrong. There's things in you and there's things in me and there's things in life we should be against. That's part of life. Every psychologist, psychiatrist will tell you that your repressed anger is not real. That'll give you more injury than anything. So it's a different sort of way, like the push hands and learning how to defend yourself psychically and behaviorally and physically. And if you're submitted to other people, if you're willing to be transparent, that gives you the permission to set boundaries and force boundaries with others as well. And unfortunately, we all got to do it. All right, last one is bouncing on the toes. Just bounce up and down. Keep bouncing. Keep going. Lengthen your breathing pattern, please. Longer, 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 longer. Because if you get to advanced meditation, then you get magic. And that's what you got to make happen inside of a lot of time that you have before you deal with that relationship, before you face that circumstance. You got to process everything yourself. Be responsible, be clear, get angry, get kind. And then when you're done, you can give to everybody. You can become a dynamo of giving. It's no problem. But you have to calm down and make the internal stuff your priority. Then you can do day and night. I know I do. And it's endless energy. But it all comes from learning how to be still, learning how to be receptive. So that's the priority. Okay, let's meditate. The flowers. You can see them. Mountains all the way around, some of the biggest mountains in America over that way. I'm not going to walk out in the driveway to show you because I don't know. But beautiful montañas, 360 degrees around us here. Still snow on some of the mountains. (8,500 feet) we are here. Highest road in America is a couple hours away. We love that. It's called Independence Pass. There's plenty of snow there right now. Questions before we go towards meditation? Nada? Okay, we're going to begin with understanding the 3 paths of Qigong meditation, working with energy. And those are what? Can anyone say? Gotta unmute.
3 steps?
No, this is the 3 paths of Qigong. In Qigong, when you get into meditation, there's 3 paths of working with energy, 3 primary paths. Water path, fire path, wind path. Water path is center of the spine, up and down. So you have healing energy now, right? In a unique way. Is that true? Adrian, you have that? Something different? So now you want to use your mind, not your hands. You want to use your mind to have that healing field move up and down your spine. We're going to do 7 of those. Breathe deeply and carefully and long and move a healing field. Imagine it if you need to, that there's a healing field and it goes up and down your spine. We're going to do that 7 times. Begin. So you're going to trace it, trace it up to the root of your brain, and then down. Move the field, move the field. Clean out old junk. Use the breath to coordinate it. Inhale, and it goes up the spine. Exhale, and goes down the spine. Spinal cord. Now, just like if I have my hand on your back going up and down, you're going to feel that magnetism, right? So learn to move chi with your mind. In space. Here, we're focusing on the material of our spinal cords. In your practice, you can do all this longer, make it part of your whole life. Here, I've got to give you different things so that you have options, so you can include something part of your life. So we're going to go to the fire path now. The fire path is trace it along your vertebrae, have it come up your vertebrae, top of your head, roof of the mouth, tongue, down the front of the body. 7 of those. Go. Up, inhale, over each vertebra, like a ball rolling. Anything to make it tangible, you got to have the same healing feeling that you have with your hands or somebody else's hands. You got to have it in your own body. Use it up your vertebrae, 1 vertebra at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Meticulous concentration. Down the front, through the roof of the mouth, over the chest, over the belly. Dropping into the base of your torso. Inhale, up over the vertebrae, base vertebrae, lower coccyx area, lumbar area, other side of your torso, other side of your chest, between your shoulder blades, behind your neck, on top of your head, down through the roof of your mouth. Softening the tongue, relaxing the tongue is a big deal. Relaxing, 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 down through the throat, the chest, on the top of the body, but inside it some, the solar plexus, the belly button, the pelvis. Inhale, coccyx bone, lumbar vertebrae, rolling on top of it, crackling, healing energy, up, up, up. Other side of the belly, other side of the torso, other side of the chest, between the shoulders, back of the neck, base of the head, rolling on the top of the head, going down through the center of the brain and the roof of the mouth, now down through, on top of the throat and within the throat, on top of the chest and within the chest, on top of the solar plexus within the solar plexus, on top of the navel, within the navel, over the pubic bone, into the base, the perineum. Inhale. Rolling it up all the way to the top of the roof of the mouth. Exhale down the front. All the way rolling down into the perineum. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now put your hands on your liver, both palms, and make the sound shh, and imagine a smile in there, your liver smiling in there. Shh. These are the 6 healing sounds of Qigong. We're just doing a couple. Who can do the longest? Can anybody do a long shh? Who can do a long shh and demo it for me? Volunteers. Don't all jump at once.
I'll try.
How long can you do it, Danielle? Let's go. Palms on the liver. And let's see, because we have to go longer now. That's what meditation is, longer. Not too much force, but yeah. Inhale. And everybody say, shh. The 6 healing sounds are part of all Wudang Qigong Taoist monasteries, and that's where Qigong is created, Mount Wudang and a couple other mountains. And that's the source of the real Qigong teachings. We're going to do one more for the heart. Just place your hands in your heart, your palms. Notice that every name of God has Ah in it. You notice that? Jehovah, Buddha, Allah, Shiva. Ah. Ah is a wonderful thing. Aha. Ah. The Om is actually Aum. It's not Om. It's Aum. Now tap your heart like this. More emotional content. You gotta let it out. You can't repress it and let it fester, and that's not gonna roll. Let's take deeper. The glands produce the hormones. Do you know that the heart is a gland as well as an organ? So the brain gets down to the heart. You become heartfelt, heart-centered. Then the heart has you develop guts, intestinal fortitude. This whole thing depends on the brain being calm enough that it can reverse its attention and start to feed the body. To feed the body, you got to sort through all sorts of issues in your tissues until you can touch the earth. To touch the earth means that this is transparent. You're not holding space for anybody anymore. You're just receiving. So what and who in your my favorites list can you have that just receiving thing going on? Because that's the only way it's going to happen. Something on the my favorites list. Let's do one more. Hands on the stomach. That's what you say when you eat something delicious, right? So you start lip smacking, salivating. That's all advanced Qigong. Call it Amrita in yoga. You've got to get so calm, so nourished, so relieved, so supported that you start to have lip smacking salivation or just salivation. Reverse your eyes. Look inside yourself. It's hard to do with your eyes open, you know. Okay, video's off. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Now just start to go to sleep, but stay awake. Conscious sleeping is advanced meditation. So if you get to the place, and Qigong is called embryonic breathing. Embryonic breathing is the most advanced practice of Qigong. I'm going to say it again, okay? Embryonic breathing is the most advanced experience of Qigong. It's also the most advanced experience of yoga, Tibetan Buddhism, Zen. Embryonic breathing is becoming so happy, so in love, so content, so satiated, not in a grandiose or weirdo way. Just actually you say, I'm happy because I want to be. That you experience such hormonal nectar, you go beyond. You have no breath and no thought. And that takes a few lifetimes of instruction. Just do what you can. This is a recording from Wudang Mountain, the birthplace of Qigong, Taiji, and Chinese medicine. Sleep, you want to have conscious sleep. That's accessing the subconscious processing power of yourself, which leads to the super conscious awareness. Don't just meditate yourself. Let the music and the nature and some kind of sage, maybe some kind of connection, Wudang Mountain, this music, let that meditate through you. and the air flowing in and out of your nostrils. That's where mindfulness meditation came from. It's actually from the Buddha. It's called Anapanasati. There's a whole science of chi. I'll give you a few points there. You have tissue at the root of your nose called magnetite-bearing tissue. It senses the magnetism in the air. The sphenoid bones in the nose sense magnetism. Each cell in your body has a north and south pole of magnetic energy that experiences information from the bloodstream and puts out information to the bloodstream. So electromagnetism is the nature of the physical world, the matrix and all of that, and it's the nature of chi. Chi power is gained through coherence, not amplitude. Coherence. Make the left side of your brain and the right side of your brain talk to each other a little better. Make your brain and your heart talk to each other a little better. Use now the wind path of chi circulation to help slow you down to reach embryonic breathing. Embryonic breathing is when you're breathing chi, not as much air. You have natural pauses of breath and thought. The wind path of energy slows you down. Start at the navel and roll that energy ball up over your heart, over your throat, over your face, over the top of your head, down the back of your head, down the spine, down the vertebrae. Empty into the perineum and go all the way to touch the earth and ground out. No breath, no thought. Then have a sigh of relief, come back to yourself and breathe more easily in your quantum relational world. Don't go to sleep. Get through the training. Get through a session of training. Just get through it. Stay awake. Roll that ball up the front of your body, over the heart, over the throat, over the face, healing, crackling, changing down the back, over each vertebra, down your back. Through the perineum, down through your legs, touching this earth. Have a few sighs of relief. Breathe longer, 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 longer. Breathe into what you're afraid about in your relationship, physical trauma, finances, things that need to get fixed, the aging process. Breathe into it. A lot of trapped fuel in these negatives, apparent negatives. So you find another place like that scribbles map we drew before that you can release to have more fuel to extend your attention span more. Yoga means union. So if you don't see the light through your eyelids, you're wandering around too much. You're becoming calmer and calmer and calmer. Roll that healing ball from the earth up through your legs, up through the perineum, over your belly button, solar plexus, heart, throat, face, forehead, top of the head, back down through the head, over the vertebrae, down through the vertebrae, down through the legs, touching this earth like if you were smelling soil or you had mud on your body. Breath is so long, I won't talk again until I breathe one breath. No, that wasn't forced at all. There's still plenty of air for the exhale. I could have waited longer, but that was just one breath, but totally natural, not forced. We don't want to be in a contest with each other, but we want to demonstrate abilities and things like that, so the people that need to learn can learn to slow down. If you want to get more done, more efficiently, more effectively, you'll have to slow down and go about things more carefully. Breathe so slowly that you stop time. You step out of the rat race. You forget your worries. Please lay flat on your backs now. If you need to go to sleep, just go to sleep. This in yoga scriptures is called the most difficult pose, Savasana, corpse pose. Practice dying that you might live more fully. Die, be born again all the time, again, again, again. If you reach the no breath place, it'd be like dying. If you have one moment of suspended animation like that, you're going to come back to life in a very profound way. So let's have a number of those moments. Soulgasm, have a soulgasm. Try to find out what the source of your thought is. Don't go into dreaming. Leave compulsivity. These are delta waves, pure delta waves. If you just have one night of great sleep, doesn't that change your life? The master skill is to drop into the absolute before you get in a car, before you make a phone call. Just keep on practicing that as primary. Then dynamic energy, intelligence, it all comes by itself. You don't even have to worry about it. Worry about how you're going to experience silence in your mind and body. Take action for those things. It might go against everything you want to do, feel, and think. Get on to the next thing. I'll just stop. Follow the instructions of the real deal things. Silence is like mental antiseptic to me. Psychologically silent heals a multitude of things. Space is bigger than form. Silence is louder than sounds. You've got to write down on the My Favorites list things that make sense to you, questions that you have. Prioritize this inner healing and evolution. Find your toes, find your body, find your systems. All the relationships are talking to those. Suffer any discomfort you might feel. Take time to experience it. Stuck on go cannot work. Stuck on thought cannot work. Relax your body, relax your mind. Forget everything else, just for now, just for a little bit longer. Linda dropped out. Oh, Mama. You said you've given me food for thought. Danielle's out. Think about something you might want to ask me before we go. And videos on. Video's on. Well, return to innocence or self or something. Anthony's laying down. What do you think, Adrian? What's the story? What do you want to do?
I have to figure some things out. But I'm on board.
Okay. How many seconds before you get back to me with your conclusions? Approximately. You could do minutes if it's not seconds. Well, it could be like minutes of 300,000. How many minutes approximately? Tomorrow? Today?
I have to figure out finances.
No. What's the time frame?
I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
Because if you're not specific, then you don't know what's going to happen, you see? Then we both lose. Do you think that might be true?
No.
No? Okay, I'm on board. How about Tuesday? Does that work? By Tuesday?
Tuesday's fine.
Questions for today? Or comments or anything?
Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you. Thank you.
How come when I'm meditating and I go to breathing deep, it feels like the tension in my body gets intensified 100 times from the breathing?
Okay, don't worry so much about forced deep breathing or anything. I do that a lot because I can handle it a lot. But that could be one thing. The other is that you look at all the dancing I've got to do to get us to the place of meditating, right? Action of discipline, action of surrender, action of knowledge, action of listening. It's like quite a thing to do because we don't really want to see ourselves. So it's tension that comes up. This whole idea of I need to go get on with it, and this is not working, this kind of stuff. That's all part of meditation. But if you follow the steps, you're going to get to the place of profound relaxation. You're going to get to relief, but you can't do that yourself. You have to have teacher, you have to have darshan, you have to have bits of knowledge that say, I'm going to concentrate on this quote, even though my will wants to do something else. And then all of this discomfort and distortion, it all comes up. There could never be a logical reason to not pursue deeper relaxation, peace of mind, to not have that as a priority could not be logical. So when your logic says something is good cultivation, it's a good possibility, it's a good opportunity, don't go over it 1,000 times. Just get involved. And these 10 5s and customized things, I work some for people, but for other people, maybe you just kind of have to do it when you want to do it. It's a dance. You're overly structured, Anthony. So for you, find more freedom. Find more. I'm not going to worry about anyone, anything, no matter what. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to have peace of mind. But as far as being beyond suffering, forget that. I don't know about that. You're going to have to talk to the Buddha or something, because you deal with more, then don't you have more exposure? If I deal with more, if I deal with all of this and all of that and all of this, aren't I going to be totally thumped by it and have to reinvent myself and find out what's wrong and change it? Yeah. So it never ends. It moves in cycles, but you should have more cushion so that you're not bouncing all the time from confusion and shock to elation and euphoria. It should be more even, steady, even. So that, you know, in the morning you get up and you go to bed at night and you can just say, I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm in it forever and that's it. I don't expect to be enlightened or healed or be beyond suffering this lifetime. I don't understand how that's possible. And so you surrender yourself and things are a lot better then. Because you'll notice that everybody's trying to get out of it.
Mm.
So it's actually better if you just take your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Honey Bunny Pie, you have anything you want to say? Will you grace us with your words of wisdom? Will you say taco or something?
Well, just how to when you feel like you are gonna get a little bit sleepy during meditation, because sometimes I get very relaxed and almost like struggling sometimes to not going to sleep.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So when I did the Beatles thing, and then I went to their main center, they have 5,000 people in one dome and 5,000 people in another dome, and they meditate twice a day and do this advanced yoga stuff. And one of the things in those domes, which was funny, was that half of them were snoring. So when you get relaxed, you want to go to sleep and let the subconscious take over. You don't want to face stuff that you have. So you have to have this hard discipline that says, I'm just going to get through the training. I'm just going to get through this time frame. And then after you want to go to sleep, take a nap, it's okay. But sleep is a tricky thing because a lot of times you go to sleep, you go into dream, all your power gets sucked up by dreams. You wake up and you lost everything. So you have to be careful about sleeping and try to make your sleeping more dreamless and more conscious. The more coherent we become, the more you just kind of meditating all the time. But when you have structured training is like a discipline thing. Maybe you want to look at the clocks at 20 minutes. I'm going to do the 3 steps, something, and just get through that without falling asleep. And over time, sleeping and waking, they become more merged. So you understand more about the sleep state. Of course, that's the genius place. That's where you access subconscious processing power. So it's a great thing. But I would say just during the training time, don't go to sleep. If the training time is done and the bell rings and you're out and you want to go sleep, okay, but not during training time. See you all in a couple weeks. See you Tuesday. Talk to you Tuesday.
Aloha.
Aloha. Shaka.